everybody. Thank you for joining us. I am going to introduce you to one amazing powerhouse of a woman that I have the pleasure and the honor of calling my friend, my client, my partner in crime, my creative inspiration, and I can't wait for you to meet her. She's a motivational speaker. She has an amazing nonprofit. She's an author. She's a powerhouse and a Latina that's helping Latinas everywhere do amazing things. I'm so happy to introduce you to Ivette Mayo. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the invitation. It's such a pleasure to be here with you today, Valentina.
I'm so happy to be celebrating our anniversary and celebrating you and everybody that's worked with us and that's helped us get to where we are. So it's very important for me to make a space for the amazing people that we get to work with every day. And you, of course, are one of them. So I want to start off by you sharing a little bit about who you are and all the amazing things that you do.
Well, I appreciate all of that. I want you to know that it's been a journey. So I appreciate the fact that that you share all this information and you acknowledge all these accomplishments. And I think that's one of the things we all have to become comfortable with. We go out and we start a business, we put a vision in place, and we run out there and try to accomplish it. Yet when we hear the compliments, sometimes we're embarrassed or uncomfortable. So I'm finally at a point after 15 years of being in business by myself or for myself, I realized that, you know what, I have worked really hard and I've observed these things. And most importantly, those things continue to give me momentum for the things to come. So a little bit about me. I am from Puerto Rico. I've been in this country for quite a long time. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and I'm a grandmother. But most importantly, I am Ivette Mayo. And I've built a confidence in myself that I didn't have before. So I want to share that with you because that's part of the strength behind the brand, the conversations that I constantly have with my clients and the women that I support through my coaching and through my events and my nonprofit. Because it is a process and it's a muscle that we have to build up. We're strong, we're capable, we're smart, we do so much, we make a lot of people a lot of money, but yet when it comes to us and our business and who we are and our vision, we doubt, we lose that energy. So I'm sharing that because for everyone who's hearing this, I want you to know I know who you are because I am that person as well. A little bit about me. I left the corporate space in 2004 after a long global career with a major airline. I had the opportunity of doing training. I did sales. I did marketing. I did a whole lot of things. And I had the opportunity to see the world. So this little girl from a little island called Puerto Rico managed to make her way to Hong Kong and Paris and Rome, Ecuador, Brazil, and all these wonderful places and got to work. But what I learned through all that is that people do not adapt to change well. No matter what we were teaching, no matter what we were putting in front of our customer, the internal customer, people just don't handle change very well. And one of the things that always stand in the way is cultural barriers. You know, what they believe and what they know, and then what they're being taught and being encouraged to do. So it takes time, it takes nurturing, but we have to get over that emotion in order to grow. If that just touched a little thing in you, then I just want you to know that then you know that sometimes your own cultural mindsets are the things that are keeping you from moving forward. Along those lines, I left in 2004 and created my company called Yo Soy I Am, LLC. It is a training and consulting firm. I had the opportunity to build training programs for organizations, small and large, around culture and leadership and personal growth, sales and marketing, a lot of different courses. And everything that I create always has that cultural component because, again, culture is something that continues to be a barrier. The question is, who's your favorite leader? And it may be a spiritual leader, it may be a political leader, but the question is why do you like that leader? And why do you think you can't be like that leader? Who do you admire? How do you sell? How do you present yourself? All of those things that you say you can do and the things you can't do are centered around your belief systems, which is your culture. So it's something that I feel really passionate about and addressing, because that is also one of the reasons women find it hard for them to grow, because they have set roles and dynamics that they believe are theirs, and they don't always see themselves as leaders. And so their belief system sometimes keeps them from taking those leadership roles. So I want to share with you that component, because that is key and core to the intention of my business. So in 2004, as I mentioned, I jumped off, left a corporate space, started my business, and I was fortunate enough in a quick, within that year, getting that idea and getting my business out in front of people and letting them know how I can help them grow. Because a lot of times they knew they had challenges and they had problems within their organizations, but they didn't know how to identify it. And I was able to come in, satisfy those needs, uncover those needs that they had, culture and those barriers that they were suffering from, find those solutions through the programs, but most importantly, push it out in a way where people could embrace it quickly. In my first year of business, I'm proud to say that I was in Tampa, Florida. It was a community I had only lived in within a year. I was there, I moved there, and then within 6 months started my business. And within a year from starting my business, I was voted as one of the top 40 women in business in the city. I went on and got appointed to all kinds of different programs, and because people can see the passion and the intention behind what I was trying to accomplish. After 5 years, we moved back to Houston, Texas, where I lived before, and continued. So it's been 10 years since I've been here in Houston. I'm a home-based business, but I work with corporations and organizations all over the world, from moving companies to finance companies, large organizations. And through these, exposing myself to these companies, it created an opportunity for me to become a speaker. They would invite me to events, MC events, and now I have added public speaking to my event, portfolio. So I'm a serial entrepreneur, because in 2004 I created Yo Soy I Am. But in 2008, I created Yo Soy Expressions, which is a line of stationery dedicated to the modern Latina who is multicultural and bilingual, who speaks Spanglish, who is professional but is tied to those cultural roots that makes her unique. I sell those via my website, and then had the opportunity to work with Hallmark and Target and design work for them to help them not only reach the Hispanic community, but also teach some of our traditions and do things in Spanglish and bilingual work for them. So it was a great thing.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, because, you said you were working for corporate, then something in you woke up and you said, you know what, I want to work for myself. And then you decided to start your own business. And then not only that, but also came up with this great idea. So what prompted you to get into this whole greeting card, Spanglish? Because it's a very corporate space, and now you jumped on your own, still very corporate because it's training and, speaking and, still in that educational corporate bubble. And then you're like, you know what? My artistic side's going to come out, and then this happens. So what made that part of the business start?
The creative me was always there, but again, it's exposing it to others is kind of the thing, is finding that confident you to be able to release this and say, hey, listen, this is the time and this is the place. So for my friends and families, I created cards for them, because sometimes I wanted to buy my tia or my mom a card, and I would go to the store and it's an English, or a Spanish card that was very, very religious, or an English card, and then I would still write in my message as I wanted to express myself. So I was buying a piece of paper to customize. So I started customizing my own cards for my friends and family. And then I went to a store needing a muchas gracias card and couldn't find it. Now, I lived in Central Florida at the time in Tampa. You would think that it's a large Hispanic community and I would find one, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it online. This is 2008, you guys. This is not that long ago. And I couldn't find a thank you card in Spanish that said muchas gracias. So I said, I'm gonna go to the store, I'm gonna buy the paper, and I'm just gonna make my own card. Then I started realizing that there was a void in the marketplace, and I can do something that I love and possibly make money from it. So I explored what it would take to launch a card, what it would, paper. Listen, I can pick up a piece of paper right now and go like this and know the weight of it. Know what kind of, I've become that kind of an expert. I know, different things about envelopes and sizes. And so I became, like any entrepreneur, when you first start a business, you become educated, so you know how to move into that space. But what was really interesting is that I've been writing poetry for a really long time. I have a sketch pad that when I just want to sit down and think something through, I draw and I sketch. So that creativity is something that I always use as an outlet to release stress or just to kind of stimulate thought. And so it's always been there. It's just that now I learned how to monetize it,
right.
Which is, so Yo Soy Expressions is my second company. So what happened? I have over 80 designs. I have a website called Yo Soy Expressions. I had an opportunity to present my product to a company called Walmart. Walmart connected me to Hallmark. Hallmark connected me to a distributor. And from that, in 2013, I signed a licensing agreement with that company, and now they produce a product and they sell it and distribute it around the world. So now I took that and made that an additional revenue stream for my business, and I'm on the royalty side of it. So it gives me a chance to do that. But I think what really came from that, it was a place to express who I was as a modern Latina, a woman who was born somewhere else, came to this country, had to understand the duality of cultures and the duality of language, balance it, and knew that I was right down in the middle. And so Yo Soy Expressions is, I have a few samples here. This one says, Poderosa Bendecida Guerrera. So if you like this, then you like the English version of it, was Powerful Blessed Warrior, right? Because I can send this to my tia and I can send this to my 30-year-old daughter, right? So then I have stuff that are in Spanglish that you can send to a girlfriend. This one, it says, it's time to catch up on the latest chisme, so you send it to your girlfriend.
Oh yeah, very current. Yeah, that's
very current. Yeah. Over my shoulder is the version called the Latina Tradicional. Each card and each one had the intention of someone that I loved, or an intention to something that I love to do, is gather with my friends, celebrate people. The poetry, everything that was in English, I had it translated into Spanish. So you can buy both versions of it, because again, it really touches the duality of who you are as a woman. Because when you go to let me just put this in perspective. When you go to the post office to pick up your mail every day, that real personal box in your neighborhood or in your building, wherever you may be, and there's all these boxes with a number, and you turn the key and there's something in it. You already know that 90 to 95% of the items in there are advertisements. There's somebody sending you something that says resident, but the minute you see an envelope addressed to you that looks like a card, you want to rip it open. There's an emotional excitement that just comes right there. That emotion is critical, because someone actually took time to buy this card, fill it out, and send you a message because they were thinking about you, that it was your birthday, they want to congratulate you. It's just another link in that relationship between you and that other person. And even if you're a business owner and you met somebody and you send them a card like this that says, it was a pleasure meeting you, and then in the inside you can put your business card and say, it was a pleasure meeting you today, this networking of that, you just stood out from everybody else that they've ever met. You created an emotional connection. And when we do business, we always do business with people we like.
Oh, yeah.
And we also want to do business with people we remember. What's more memorable than sending somebody a handwritten note and saying, hey, it's a pleasure meeting you? What's more memorable than getting something from somebody and just feeling good and knowing that somebody thought about you? So again, the cards and understanding the intention of culture is really touching the emotion of people and how we do business. So to me, it makes sense. It connects.
And now that you bring that up, and it's a perfect segue because everything that you do is filled with that emotion and that passion and that memorable factor, to the point where you take it super seriously and are very intentional with the colors of your brand, what you wear. So everything about you and your events and your book and your cards has a very distinct emotional and visual component. um you're always wearing red and wearing polka dots, and I know those are two very important symbols in your brand. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So I touched upon something earlier, is that change, in order for people to take on change, you have to get over the emotion of that. Because the minute somebody in your office walks in and says to everyone, some changes taking place and we need to tell you about it. The first thing you want to do is cross your hands and roll your eyes and go, oh my God, here we go, right? But the thing about it is that the longer you stay in that space of, I don't want this is not going to work, and judgment and all of that takes place, the longer it's going to take for you to adapt, right? So that emotional hurdle is huge, right? But at the same time, on the other side of that spectrum is, you've just gone to a motivational conference and you've been around a bunch of great women and a badass, kick-ass speaker on stage, and they just shared this amazing message in you, and you just realize there's tears running down your face. You just realize, I need to make this change. This is the time. This is the place. I feel I need this now. So there's another emotion, that emotion of, I can do this. I can make this happen. I desire this. I can see it. I can feel it. And so that change will happen even faster, because that emotion is what navigates you through that change. So emotions is really critical on how we adapt to and avoid change, right? So, and I stand in front of people, in front of a room, training leaders at all levels about how important change is, and change management, and being a change agent is handling that emotional hurdle. And so emotions are really critical to my message and the intention of my message. So one thing is I love polka dots. Polka dots make me happy. They make me happy when I see them on men, when I see them on children, when I see them on other people. I trust me, they make me happy. I instantly smile, right? So at the end of the day, whether it's an organization or an individual person or an entrepreneur, whoever they are, they just want to be happy in what they're doing. And their success is measured by, in some places, by goals and money. But at the end of the day, they want the satisfaction of knowing that they're being successful, they're doing the right thing, they're being great leaders, they're doing all the right things. And that happiness is what polka dots remind me of. So when you see me, I want to remind you of what your goals are and what makes you happy, right? And so in the corporate space, if what you're doing is not making sense for you anymore, that means you're not happy, right? You're doing the work, but you're not happy. As an entrepreneur, you started a business because you had the vision, but you really have to love what you're doing and be happy for you to be successful. Because it doesn't, there's no passion. And so when you become happy, you become powerful. You become unstoppable. As I mentioned to you, becoming confident is a muscle I have had to learn to work and develop. And that confidence is my power. It's like, it goes to, I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you don't believe everything that I say. What I believe is what I believe, and I feel it's going to help you. And if you have those barriers and that judgment, then that's fine, that's you. But it's not going to stop me from wearing my polka dots and sharing a message of change.
And that's very important. And it's part of everything that you do. And it's always present. And it's a great reminder, not only to people that get to know you and hear that message, but also to yourself. Like, this is my purpose and this is who I am. And ever since I met you, I can't look at polka dots and not think about it. So mission accomplished.
That's it. Mission accomplished. Thank you. It's intentional. I have, to this day, it's been 15 years since this polka dot image has been part of me. We've been connected. That people will go to a store and find a scarf or find a sweater, find a purse. I've gotten plates they send them to me. I get gifts all the time from people. Oh, I saw this and it made me think of you. And to this day, people walk up to me and go, "You're Ivette," you know, they'll say Ivette Mayo. They'll say my entire name. They'll say, "Oh, your company is Yo Soy I Am," or they say, "You're the lady in the polka dots. I remember you." So I'm good with that. And, you know, to be honest with you, that's priceless because that's what the marketing image is all about. And so I wanted to share with you because the third thing that I was able to do, and again, this is a journey, and this is one of the things I always want to tell people is I work with inspired entrepreneurs who want to do all these things, but you have to do one thing well and then move into the next thing and do that well and continue to build and build and build. And so in 2017, I remember I started my business in 2004, I wrote a book. And I self-published, and I got it in Amazon. And you know, who told this little girl from a little place called El Tamarindo in Manatí, Puerto Rico, that she could write a book? I didn't wait for someone to tell me. I was inspired, and I did that. So I was able to add author to my name. But part of that is sharing sharing the message of how do you stop that self-talk that we have every day that tells us, 1 minute do something, and the next minute telling yourself why you can't do it. And then before you know it, you're not moving forward because that negative has overstepped on the positive. Or messages have been shared in your life or in your career that you can't do something because you're too tall or you're too old or you're too, you know, or you're not young enough or you don't have enough experience, and these limited beliefs that stopped us from moving forward. So my book is about helping people overcome that negative talk, create your new self-truth, and then change your ideas, change your emotions, but most importantly, let it change your actions. And so I walk people through a 30-day guide on how to remove that negative self-talk and replace it with your new message for self. So this all turns into confidence is power. So when you hear me say the word power, you know it's not about what I think of power, it's what you need to think about, your personal power. My power is one thing, your power is different, you know, and we have to feel comfortable and confident in that. And I think the other thing too about all of this is that as my brand has evolved, my business has evolved, whether I am a speaker, a trainer, or a speaker, or an author, or the founder of a nonprofit, it's about understanding that all of these are steps, and we have to become good in all of those for us to be good, right? And it's a muscle of strength and power that we're developing along the way. And along that is this understanding that who you were in your 20s is not who you are in your 30s, and who you are in your 40s, and who are in your 50s. We're always evolving, and so you have to be ready to change with what's around you. And right now, the timeliness of the coronavirus, where it has stopped the world.
Yes.
There is not one nation that is not being affected by this. And this has caused people to create real change in their lives. And so it would be interesting to see where the world will be in a year past Corona, because there'll be those ones who will say, okay, it's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new place, let's move forward. But then there'll be that other part of the community that says, well, remember when we used to do this? And
yes.
we used to do that. You see, so we'll continue to see that in society. So with that said, you know, polka dots, emotions, power, intention, you know, those are words that I continue to just thread through everything that I do.
And that is very important. And it's something that I talk about with my clients all the time is, you know, when you're creating something, whatever that is, whatever your business is, whatever that looks like for you, because like you said, everybody has a superpower.
Yeah. And mine is not yours, and yours is not mine.
Correct. And it shouldn't be. And even if it's similar, everybody has that something that makes them different than everybody else. It might be the way you say things or the way you do this, but right. As long as you're intentional with whatever you're putting out there, it will get heard and it will be remembered. And that is something that I really like about everything that you do, because everything is very intentional. And you always talk about power, and empowering people through your coaching, through your book, through your speaking, through your trainings. But the one I love the most is Power and Heals,
Yay!
which is your nonprofit. And because it's all about power, but from a space of bringing women and Latinas together and getting them ready to realize who they are, to take on that and unapologetically live it and breathe it and grow it and show up and be better. And I love that you called it Power and Heals, because it's fun, it's playful, it's very female, it's also very empowering. I don't wear heels often, but when I do, it's like, it gives you that
Yeah.
extra little bit of something. So I would love for you to share about Power and Heels.
Let me share with you why that's so important. Power on Heels started because as I got invited to speak on these big stages at corporations or associations, Hispanic associations around the country, do workshops and work with these big companies, as soon as I walked off stage, a woman will walk, or several women will walk up to me crying, sharing with me that it was so wonderful seeing a Latina on stage. It was wonderful that the message that I provided because it resonated with them. And it also made them feel like somebody understood them, because sometimes they express themselves in the market, in the workspace or in the marketplace, and the joke is lost. The idea doesn't resonate because people can't relate to it. So it's wonderful being relatable. So these women, I was able to create a collective of them through social media. I created first the Power on Heels Network, where on a daily basis I was able to share messages and keep everyone connected. And we did that for about 3 years. And then finally, someone said to me, well, let me just say someone, I had an opportunity to have an audience with Dolores Huerta, who is iconic in our culture.
Yes.
And in the world. And I was sharing with her what I was doing and my business and who I was. And she was such a great listener. And then she went like this, and she says, I think you should do a nonprofit. And let me tell you why. And she ran through several different reasons, but she says, because this needs to go into schools and different organizations and corporations, and people will support you more as a nonprofit than as a Facebook platform. And when someone pours wisdom into you, you take that and you run with it.
Oh yeah.
So I ran with that, and Power on Heels Fund was created in 2018. In May, we got certification from the IRS. From application to certification took us 7 months. From May to December, it was building, our structure, our brand, who was going to be on the board, all of that. And then in January of 2019, we launched the organization fully with a full year calendar of events, scholarships and training. And it was our first year, and it was wonderfully successful. We had a membership base, but it was really about a collective of women who were feeling lonely and lonely in their space. And Power on Heels gave them an outlet to become more powerful, to know themselves. And all the training and all the conversations we have is about how we can elevate who we are to the next level. How do we build confidence, and how do we share, and how do we, just support one another. Power on Heels is fun, has been just kind of giving birth to that, and seeing what we're doing with it continues to inspire me, and give me power, because I see other women getting power. So
and that's how we met each other, and that's how we got connected. And we started working together not too long after the first time we met. I was lucky enough to be part of a panel in one of your events. We spoke about branding and building your personal brand, and how important that is for everybody, even if you don't have a business. And I got to share the stage with amazing women. I met so many great people. I fell in love with it instantly. So, and then we started working together.
So you were wonderful, because we've talked about the word intention, right? And we talked about emotion, right? And I think that by being present and being part of that event, you understood the intention of our work, you felt it, you felt the emotion behind it, but then you can see how it impacted others. And that just drew you in. So you were wonderful in creating our marketing for our first conference, and other events that we did along the way. We did, because pay gap inequity is our social impact, where we want to have and help Latinas increase their ability to earn. And you've done things for our Latina Equal Pay Day, you did things for our conference, all with this unique style and grace and elegance, and most importantly, the emotion that Power on Heels, never forgetting who we are, our brand, our look, our feel, the intention of our organization. And so the partnership for me was ideal and perfect in so many different ways. So thank you, Valentina, for your creativity, but also for seeing who we are. And that makes the difference, because people, when they see who you, they don't meet you, they see your image first, and then they are impressed by what you provide them. And then when you walk in the door, you make that phone call and you walk in, they already want to know who you are because you've already impressed them with the visual. So you were very good about helping us accomplish that. And so thank you.
We're so glad that you like the work, and that we've managed to create such a powerful partnership, because everybody at the Art Bunker loves creating things for Power on Heels. And it's always, what else can we do? And we all feel very connected to your mission, to the point where it's ours as well. Like, we see this as part of our family. So everything that we do contributes to that intentionality, which is going to be the word of the day, intentional, but also help your brand and all of the work that you've already been doing, so it stays cohesive and builds on and builds on and builds on to a point where it's growing. And I'm sure it's going to just go everywhere. And every time we have an event, there's more women that are coming. There's more people that are interested and that are being touched by the organization. And a big thing for us at the agency is working with people who have a purpose that's way bigger than just making money. So that's huge for us. And to see that translate and actually coexist in the community and see the change that the work is doing, that's just priceless to us.
Absolutely. And so one of the things I remember my old sales days, because I was a salesperson, and then I taught sales. And in business, you either have partners, you have customers who are partners, or you have customers that are transactional. And so one of the things that you have to understand is that both of them will bring business into your organization. But one of them, you pick which one. One, especially partnerships, they become part of your organization. They're not just a customer. And so you said something really important is that you understand the purpose, and then so when you're creating something, you don't forget that intention, and it comes out in that creative. And that's so important, because you're not trying to deviate, and that's something people have to remember. And that's one of the reasons you have to know who you are and what you want to accomplish. Because when you come to someone like you to say, listen, I need a logo, I need a brand, I need you to help me with my website, it's not them creating it for you. It's that you have to tell them, what do you want to achieve? Who are you? What is your purpose? Do you sell insurance? But you don't sell insurance to everybody. Do you sell houses? Is everybody your customer? Really? Who is your audience? What do you want to achieve? And make sure that you stay centered on that, because when you create a brand, that intention comes out, and you need that, because people need to feel it and see it, and they know who you are. The worst thing you can do is not know who you are, and then you throw money out there, and then you want to change something, you have to throw more money out there to change it. And then the other thing that happens is this thing called brand confusion. No one knows who you are. So I speak to, as a coach, which is another part of the work that I do, is that I'm constantly having to sit with people and say, so, who is your customer? And what do you want to do? And why is that important? And then forget the money part. Let's talk about what the products and services are, so then we can put a price on it. But I can't put price on something when you can't even tell me what it is. I can't tell you to go out there and charge $150 for something when I don't know what you're giving somebody. What's the value behind it? What is the intent behind it? So knowing who you are is so critical when you work with someone like Bunker 58 and Valentina. Why? Because they need to understand who you are. but most importantly, you have to know who you are as a business, as an organization, as a corporation. And that's critical. That's, to me, that's.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's a big part of what we do, because sometimes we, get lucky and find clients that we work with, like you, who already have all of that super clear. But then we also work with a lot of entrepreneurs who are searching still for what it is that makes them different, who they are, or they just starting their business, or they've been in business for a while, but have been, suffering from brand confusion. and then, and then their customers don't connect and they don't know why. So that's why I always tell everybody we work with is, look, the first part of our work is like, it's brand therapy. And we'll do that for a little while. And then after we do all the therapy and figure out, who you are, what you want to do, what your purpose is, your client, and all of that stuff that you were talking about, then we can move on to actually creating something for you. And that's crucial to the process for us.
Well, the thing I think too is that, and staying committed to that brand as well. So I get asked to speak at events, and I always say to people, will you please forward the information to me? The worst thing you can do is call me up and say, hey, no, we're having this event. We'd love you to be part. We have, there's some things that I have to check off the list, like where is it, when is it, how much are you going to pay me? All these conversations have to take place, and then they want you to come and give a message, but they're not clear on the conference. It's like, what do you want to accomplish? Well, we want a motivational message for our team. We want to talk about leadership to our organization. But why is leadership important? Why is motivation important? Where's the deficit? What's happening in the organization that you feel like you need to bring somebody like me in?
Yeah.
So I'm always asking those questions. So it's important for anyone who's listening to this, understand that she's asking those questions because she really wants to know what you need so you can be successful. And I think that's one of the things that I understand. But I think whether it's a corporation, whether I'm doing training for them, whether I'm at an association doing a onstage keynote, whether I'm coaching one-on-one an entrepreneur or a transitioning professional, it's always like, what do you want to accomplish? That is the first part of the conversation, and then we kind of build back to that. And why? Because it comes back to that point of, I want to make you happy, and so you have to be ready to define what is your happy. I know we hear this all this time is, what is your why?
Yeah.
But what is going to really make you happy in your business and what you do? And, is money really what you want? Or is money just part of it? We have to have those conversations with ourselves. So you really, you get a feel for who I am and why I push what I push, and sometimes I do it kind of forcefully because I am a Latina mother, so I do it with love.
Yeah. Puro amor, puro amor.
With love. Te pego, pero no te pego duro. But
and that's one of the things that I think I personally enjoy most about having the opportunity to have met you and working with you and supporting everything you do. And also, having the honor of getting to call you my friend and just, call you and just, talk about life and the dogs and the kids and
I get it.
And all the great things. And to me, it's a pleasure. It's an honor. And I'm super happy to be able to have you here today, sharing your story, and sharing the amazing work that we've done together and celebrating our anniversary with you and having our family.
I know, and congratulations for that, because I think it's so important. You are such a great visionary. You're such a great creative. You're a wonderful professional. You take time to listen, and I think it's so intentional what you do. And I know that is the word of the day, but I think it's important that you are intentional so that you can help people like myself continue to be intentional, and anyone else. Well, let me just say this. So happy anniversary. Thank you for all the work and the commitment you have in making organizations like Power on Heels Fund and myself grow in the marketplace. You do everything with intention, and that's so important. You ask the right questions. You really want people to be successful, and that's what drives who you are and the level of work that you have out there that you create for everyone. So for me, to you, I appreciate you and love all the work that you do. There's a certain level of satisfaction of knowing that you're working with someone that gets you. There's a certain level of satisfaction that is priceless, that you don't have to explain yourself, and that everything that you're going to bring back in your creative work and you and your team, you do things that sometimes, you do it without me even thinking about it. You're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I wanted. And she did it, or I got this back. And, that's so important to have that level of confidence in the people that you partner with, the people that you entrust your image and your brand and your business and your vision to. So thank you for your level of professionalism, your commitment, the love that you put into the work that you do. And I wish you many, many years of success, and that you continue to work in that high level of intention, because it's paying off. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. If you're happy, I'm happy. That's the goal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But one thing that's real important for people to remember is that in marketing, it's who you are. And so I'm constantly having to redefine who I am. So understand that change is part of our growth journey. But as you create your marketing brand, understand that it changes with you too. I've had 3 logos since I started my business, and I finally feel like I have a logo that represents me. Not everybody agrees, but I feel like it's perfect for me because it has polka dots in it. And I want you to always think of the person that you are on this journey with has to be able to change with you. And I think Valentina is one of those people that you don't have to worry about, her and her team. So remember that when you are partnering with great organizations like Bunker 58.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm gonna cry. It's so exciting. Thank you so much. I can't wait till I can hug you again, because we're huggers. I mean, Latina women, we hug each other, okay? So
we talk to each other, we touch each other. We talk and we touch each other.
It's right? Not safe for coronavirus.
Yeah. So with that said, thank you so much.